When you act like you're meant to win, even before you see results, you begin to build strength inside. You don't wait for praise. You move forward with faith. That quiet belief is what turns dreams into reality.
Welcome to Napoleon Hill's Daily Millionaire Mindset, where we teach you the timeless principles that turn ambition into achievement. Subscribe today and start creating the life you deserve.
What if the only thing keeping you from the life you want is how you see yourself right now? Imagine waking up and acting like you are already strong, already ready, already winning. Not because you are pretending, but because you are getting ready for it to be true. When you act like you are meant to win, you begin to become the person who does. I, Napoleon Hill, have learned that real change starts when you believe in yourself, not when others do. There comes a time in life when standing on the side no longer feels right. You've watched others move forward, and something inside you starts to whisper, that could be me. Maybe you've told yourself it's not the right time, or you're not ready. That's when you must step forward, even if you're unsure, even if your hands shake. To step into the arena means to stop waiting. You stop waiting for someone to choose you, for the perfect moment, or for fear to leave. You stop holding your breath. You stand up, and you decide that this life will not pass you by while you stay quiet. You decide to take your chance, not because everything is perfect, but because you can no longer live holding back. They have dreams, ideas, talents, but they never act on them. They tell themselves they'll try later, when they feel more confident or more skilled. But the truth is, the door to your future only opens when you knock. And the longer you wait, the quieter your belief becomes. You start to think you're not meant for more, but you are. You were never meant to stay small. Stepping forward is not about having all the answers. It's about being willing to start. It means doing the work even if you're scared. It means raising your hand, sharing your voice, trying again after failure. It means carrying yourself like your dream is real, even if others don't see it yet. Because the truth is, most people won't believe in you until you believe in yourself first. Courage is not loud. It doesn't always feel strong. Sometimes it shows up in quiet ways, like saying yes to a new challenge, or showing up when you feel like hiding. Sometimes it's trying again after being told no. Sometimes it's simply deciding that your future is worth the risk. Picture yourself walking into a new room. You see others who seem smarter, more successful, more experienced. You feel out of place, your heart beats faster. Part of you wants to turn around and leave, but you don't. You stand tall. You breathe deeply. You speak clearly. You carry yourself like someone who belongs because you do. The difference between where you are and where you want to be often comes down to this one moment. Whether or not you step forward. The people you admire didn't wait until they felt brave. They didn't wait for someone to tell them it was time. They made a choice to move, even while feeling uncertain, and that choice changed their life. You don't need to be the loudest or the best. You just need to be willing. You need to take the first step, even if your voice trembles, even if you don't know where the road leads. What matters is that you move, that you enter the space your dream lives in, that you start becoming the person you were always meant to be. The arena is waiting for you. Not someday, but now. Not when you feel ready, but the moment you choose to act. Walk forward, speak up, stand tall. You belong there. And the moment you decide to step in, everything begins to change. Make vision your compass. There is a quiet strength in knowing where you are going. When you have a clear picture of your future, everything you do begins to have meaning. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop saying yes to things that take you in the wrong direction. A clear vision acts like a compass. It doesn't always tell you how fast you're moving, but it always shows you which way to go. Many people wake up every day and go through the motions. They work, they eat, they sleep, and then they do it all again. But deep down they feel lost. Not because they're lazy, and not because they don't care. It's because they don't know what they're moving toward. They haven't taken the time to decide what they really want their life to look like. When you have no vision, it's easy to get pulled in every direction. You say yes to things just to keep busy. You try to please everyone. You chase things that look good on the outside, but leave you empty inside. But when you have vision, your life becomes simpler. Not easier, but simpler. You know what matters. You know what to walk toward, and you also know what to walk away from. Having a vision means you've taken the time to imagine your best life. You know what kind of work makes you come alive. You know the kind of people you want around you. You see the kind of person you want to become. That picture becomes your compass. You hold it in your heart, and you use it to guide your choices. To build this vision, you must be honest with yourself. What do you truly want? Not what others expect from you. Not what seems safe, but what lights a fire in your soul. Acting as if you're going to win starts here. Subscribe to Napoleon Hill DMM and commit to thinking, living, and succeeding like a champion. What would make you proud to look back on your life? Take the time to sit with these questions. Write down what you see. Don't hold back. Let it be big. Let it be bold. Then keep that picture in front of you every day. It's not enough to wish. You must begin to live like the vision is already forming. You wake up with purpose. You walk with clarity. You make decisions that match the future you've imagined. And when life throws distractions your way, and it will, your vision helps you stay on course. Imagine yourself starting your day with that picture in mind. Instead of drifting, you move with direction. You don't waste your energy proving yourself to people who don't matter. You don't chase every opportunity just because it's new. You focus, you choose what lines up with your dream, and you let go of the rest. You are not chasing everything, you are building something. Others may not see your vision. They may not understand it. That's okay. It's not their vision, it's yours. And as long as you can see it, you can keep moving toward it. Even on hard days, even when nothing around you looks like the picture in your mind, you hold on to it, because the person who refuses to let go of their vision will always find a way. A clear vision gives your life shape. It helps you rise with purpose, work with meaning, and rest with peace. You may not know every step. You may not have all the answers. But when you carry a strong vision, you carry direction. And with direction, you don't need to rush. You just need to keep moving, one step at a time, toward the life you were born to build. Cultivate unshakable belief. Belief is the seed of every great success. Before anything shows up in your life, it first has to take root in your mind. If you believe you can do something, you'll take steps toward it. If you believe you can't, you'll find reasons to stay still. The way you see yourself shapes every choice you make. That's why building strong belief in yourself is one of the most important things you'll ever do. Belief is not the same as pretending. It's not about walking around with empty words or acting like everything is perfect. Real belief is quiet but steady. It's the voice inside you that says, "This may be hard, but I can do it." It helps you stay grounded when things don't go as planned. It gives you the strength to keep going when others would quit. Without belief, talent goes unused. Without belief, ideas stay hidden. Without belief, even the best plans fall apart. People don't fail because they're not good enough. They fail because they never truly believed they could succeed in the first place. And that belief, or the lack of it, shows up in the way they speak, the way they walk, and the way they work. You build belief by keeping promises to yourself. When you say you're going to do something and you do it, your belief grows. It doesn't matter how small the task is. Even getting up on time, finishing what you started, or speaking up when it's uncomfortable, these are all ways to build belief. Each small action is a brick, and over time, those bricks form a strong foundation. You also build belief by remembering who you are. Everyone has been through something. Everyone has had to climb out of something. Think back to a time when you overcame a problem. You didn't give up then, so why would you give up now? Let those moments remind you that you're capable. Let them prove to you that you are stronger than your fear. Another way to strengthen belief is to speak to yourself with respect. If someone spoke to you the way you sometimes speak to yourself, would you want to be around them? Probably not. You must stop tearing yourself down and start lifting yourself up, not with lies, but with truth. Speak kindly, speak powerfully, speak as if your words are planting the future you want to grow. Imagine you are standing in front of a door to a new opportunity. Maybe it's a job, a project, or something you've never done before. You start to think, "I'm not ready," or "What if I fail?" But then you pause. You breathe. You remind yourself of everything you've come through to get here, and you decide to walk through the door anyway. That one moment when you choose belief over fear changes everything. Even if it's a small win, it builds something inside you. That's how belief grows step by step, choice by choice. You don't have to be the best to believe in yourself. You just have to decide that your future is worth the risk. And once you do, you'll start to act differently. You'll move with purpose. You'll speak with strength. And others will begin to believe in you too, not because they saw something before you did, but because you finally showed them what was already there. Build that belief, water it daily, protect it from doubt, and soon what once seemed impossible will begin to feel like the next natural step. Fail forward with purpose. No one enjoys failing. It hurts. It can make you feel small, confused, or embarrassed. But what if failure wasn't something to fear? What if it was something that could actually help you grow? The truth is, failure is not the end. It's often the beginning of something better. What matters is how you respond to it. To fail forward means you don't let a mistake stop you. You fall, but you don't stay down. You take what you learned and you use it to make your next step stronger. Many people think they need to avoid all mistakes to succeed. But those who move ahead in life aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who keep going after they fail. Think about someone learning to ride a horse. The first few tries are rough. They fall off. They might feel embarrassed or scared, but each time they get back on, they understand the horse better. They learn how to hold the reins, how to stay balanced, how to guide the horse with confidence. If they never got back on, they'd never ride. But if they keep trying, they improve. That's failing forward. You learn as you go, and the learning makes you better. Many people stop at their first failure. They take it as proof they weren't meant to succeed. But failure isn't proof that you're not good enough. It's just part of the process. Every great builder, teacher, artist, leader, or athlete has failed many times. What separates them from others is that they didn't give up. They stayed with it. They used failure to grow. You don't need to enjoy failing, but you do need to respect it. Failure teaches you things that success can't. It shows you where to improve. It reveals your weaknesses so you can strengthen them. It helps you understand yourself. If you let it, failure becomes your teacher, not your enemy. So how can you fail forward? First, don't take it personally. Just because something didn't work doesn't mean you are a failure. Second, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Write it down. Look for the lesson. Third, try again. Use what you learned to make your next step better. This is how you build wisdom. This is how you build strength. Imagine you're trying something new. Maybe it's starting a side project or learning a skill. You make a mistake. You feel like you've messed everything up. You think about quitting, but instead you pause. You breathe. You say, what went wrong? What can I do differently next time? You fix the mistake and try again, and this time it goes a little better. You keep going. Before long, you're doing something you once thought you couldn't, all because you chose to learn instead of quit. You don't have to fear failure. You just have to stop letting it control you. Let it guide you instead. Let it shape you into someone stronger, wiser, and more prepared. The people who succeed the most are often the ones who failed the most, but they never stopped moving forward. Remember, failure is not falling down. It's staying down. As long as you get back up, you're still in the game. You're still becoming the person you were meant to be. So next time you fall, don't hide, don't quit. Get back up with a lesson in your pocket and take the next step. That's how you fail forward with purpose. Surround yourself with power. The people around you shape your life more than you may realize. Their words, their energy, their habits, they all leave a mark on you. If you spend enough time with people who believe in growth, you will grow. But if you spend your time around those who complain, doubt, or fear change, their habits can slowly become yours. That is why it is so important to choose your circle carefully. You become like the people you spend the most time with. If you are always around people who avoid hard work, you will start to lower your own standards. If your friends make fun of big dreams, you may begin to shrink your own. But if the people near you talk about goals, speak with hope, and live with purpose, that kind of energy lifts you higher. Choosing strong people to be close to does not mean you think you are better than anyone else. It simply means you know how important your path is. You have goals. You have a future to build. And to do that well, you must protect your space and be wise about who you let into it. This doesn't mean you must cut people off or judge others harshly. It means being clear about what kind of support you need. You need people who want to see you win. You need people who speak life into your dreams, not people who laugh at them or pull you back to the old version of yourself. You need people who are also reaching, growing, and building. If you don't have that kind of circle right now, don't worry. You can start by becoming that kind of person yourself. Be someone who encourages others. Be someone who works hard, lifts others up, and speaks with purpose. Like attracts like. When you grow, new people begin to appear, people who match the new level you are stepping into. Imagine you are sharing an idea that means a lot to you. In one room, the people around you shake their heads and say, "That's too hard, you're dreaming too big, you feel small." You begin to second-guess yourself. But now imagine another room. You share the same idea, and the people say, "That's powerful. How can I help? What's your next step?" You leave that room feeling stronger, more focused, and ready to move. The second room didn't change your idea, it changed your belief. That's the power of being surrounded by people who lift you up. Pay attention to how you feel after being around others. Do you feel clearer, stronger, inspired, or do you feel drained, confused, or doubtful? These feelings are signs. They are telling you what your environment is doing to your mindset. You deserve to be around people who respect your growth. You deserve to have conversations that challenge your thinking in good ways. You deserve to walk into a room and feel your future being welcomed, not dismissed. Surrounding yourself with power means choosing people who bring light into your life, people who speak with truth, act with courage, and walk with discipline. When you have that kind of support, your own strength begins to rise. You take bolder steps. You stay the course. You become better not just because of your own effort, but because of the quiet strength of the people walking beside you. Choose your circle with care. Your future depends on it. Master your inner dialogue. The words you say to yourself shape your world. They guide your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. You may not always notice them, but they are there, quiet, steady, and powerful. That little voice in your mind speaks all day long. It can lift you up, or it can hold you back. Learning to master this voice is one of the most important things you can do for your life. Your inner voice tells you who you are, it tells you what is possible, it decides whether you step forward or step away. If that voice is filled with fear, doubt, or anger, you will carry that weight into everything you do. But if that voice speaks truth, strength, and hope, you will walk with courage, even when things get hard. You may have learned to be hard on yourself. You may think that being tough will make you stronger, but tearing yourself down does not build anything. It only weakens your spirit. Speaking to yourself with care is not weakness. It is wisdom. You are with yourself every moment of your life. Make that relationship a good one. The way you talk to yourself should match the life you want to live. You cannot build a strong future with a voice that keeps telling you you're not enough. You cannot walk with power if your own mind is pulling you down. You must speak to yourself the way a trusted guide would, firm when needed, kind always. One way to do this is to become more aware of what you say in quiet moments. When something goes wrong, what are your first thoughts? When you face something new, do you say, "I can figure this out"? Or do you say, "I'll probably fail"? These small sentences shape your days. If they are filled with doubt, they must be changed. Changing your inner voice takes time, but it starts with choice. When a thought comes that brings you down, stop and ask, "Is this helping me?" If it is not, replace it with something that does. You do not need to lie to yourself. You just need to speak with truth and courage. You can say, "This is hard, but I am learning." You can say, "I don't feel ready, but I will try." These words make a difference. Imagine you are facing a challenge. Maybe you are about to step into something new, something big. That voice in your head starts whispering, "You're not ready. You don't belong here." You feel the fear in your chest, but instead of letting those words take over, you speak back. You say, "I have earned this. I am prepared. I will grow through this." Your heart settles. Your steps become firm. You move forward. That's the power of mastering your inner voice. The world outside you will test you, but it is the voice inside you that decides whether you rise or fall. When that voice becomes your friend, when it speaks with truth, care, and direction, you become unstoppable. You may still face hard days. You may still feel fear, but you will no longer be fighting yourself, and that changes everything. Master your inner dialogue. Fill your thoughts with words that match your strength. Make your mind a place where belief grows, where peace lives, and where courage wakes up every morning. That voice is always speaking. Let it speak life. Take bold, imperfect action. There is something powerful about taking the first step, even when you're not fully ready. Waiting for everything to be perfect keeps many people stuck. They want the timing to be right. They want to feel more confident. They want to know exactly how everything will turn out. But life does not work that way. Growth does not come from waiting. It comes from moving, even if that movement is uncertain, shaky, or messy. Taking bold, imperfect action means you do not let fear or doubt stop you from trying. You move forward with courage, even if the road ahead is not clear. You don't wait for all the answers. You begin with what you know. You give what you have, and in doing so, you learn more than you ever could by standing still. You do not have to be the best to begin. You do not need to be fully prepared. What matters is that you begin. Every great achievement starts with someone willing to take the first step without knowing what the second or third will look like. That step is never perfect. It might be clumsy. It might even lead to failure. But it is a start, and that start changes everything. When you take bold action, you grow. Even if things don't go as planned, you learn something valuable. You find out what works and what doesn't. You discover strengths you didn't know you had. You face fears and prove to yourself that you are stronger than them. And slowly, your courage builds, your skill builds, your confidence grows. Many people hold back because they are afraid of looking foolish or making mistakes. But everyone who has done something great has had those same fears. They just chose to move anyway. They understood that mistakes are not the end. They are part of the path. You cannot avoid them, but you can learn from them. And when you do, you move forward faster than those who stand still, waiting for the perfect plan. Imagine you have an idea in your heart. It's something that excites you and scares you at the same time. You want to begin, but fear whispers, "What if you fail?" You listen for a while, but then you remember your goal. You take a deep breath and say, "I'll try." You begin. It's not perfect. You make mistakes, but something powerful happens. You learn. You adjust. You try again. And before long, that small, shaky step turns into steady movement. You've started building something real, not because you had a perfect plan, but because you had the courage to begin. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. Bold action does not mean reckless action. It means stepping into your fear with your eyes open. It means doing your best with what you have now. It means letting go of the need to impress and choosing to progress instead. The people who make the biggest changes in the world are not the ones who waited for permission. They are the ones who moved when things were still uncertain. They trusted that each step would teach them something new. And it did. If you want to grow, you must be willing to take bold, imperfect steps. You will never feel fully ready, but that's the secret no one ever does. What matters is that you act. And once you do, your life begins to move in ways it never would if you had stayed still. Begin now, even if it's messy, even if it's slow. Just begin. Become obsessed with growth. There is something special about people who are always growing. They don't settle for just getting by. They want to become better not for praise, not for show, but because they know they are meant for more. These people don't focus only on goals or awards. They focus on becoming the kind of person who is strong, wise, and ready for anything. That is what it means to be obsessed with growth. Growth is not just about learning new things. It's about becoming someone new. It means looking at your life and asking, where can I improve? It means being honest with yourself and willing to stretch. It means you don't hide from weakness. You face it and work on it. When you care about growth, you stop fearing failure. You stop avoiding hard work. You stop comparing yourself to others. You become focused on your own path, your own pace, and your own process. You begin to measure progress not by how far you have to go, but by how far you've already come. Being obsessed with growth does not mean you are never satisfied. It means you are never finished. You are always open to learning. You are always asking questions. You know that there is no final version of yourself. There is always another level, another lesson, another chance to become better. You grow by paying attention to your choices. You grow by challenging your thoughts. You grow by stepping into new situations, even when you feel nervous or unsure. You grow by listening, by reflecting, and by trying again after setbacks. Growth is not something you wait for. It is something you choose every single day. Imagine you are offered a task that you have never done before. Part of you feels excited. Another part feels scared. You think, what if I fail? What if I don't know enough? But then you remember that growth does not happen in safety, it happens in the stretch. So you accept the task, you study, you try, you make mistakes, but you keep going. A few weeks later, you realize that you have become someone more skilled, more confident, more capable, all because you were willing to grow. Some people stop growing because they are afraid of being judged. Others stop because they think they already know enough. But the truth is, the world keeps changing. Life keeps moving. And if you want to keep up, you must keep growing. You must be more curious than proud. You must be more willing than perfect. Growth is not about becoming better than others. It is about becoming better than the person you were yesterday. It is quiet work. It is steady work. And over time, it builds a life that feels rich and full, not because of what you have, but because of who you have become. Be proud of your progress. Celebrate your steps, but don't stop. Keep asking yourself what's next. Keep reaching. Keep building. Let growth become part of who you are, not just what you do. When growth becomes your way of life, you don't need to chase success. It will find you because it follows those who are always moving forward. Align actions with identity. The way you see yourself shapes the life you live. If you believe deep down that you are strong, responsible, and capable, your actions will show it. But if you see yourself as weak, lazy, or always falling behind, your actions will match that too. That is why it is so important to make sure your actions and your identity walk in the same direction. Your identity is not just your name or where you come from. It is the image you carry inside the story you tell yourself about who you are. That story controls the choices you make. It affects what you say yes to and what you avoid. It decides how you react when things go wrong and whether you keep going or give up. When your actions do not match your identity, life feels confusing. You may have big dreams, but if you keep acting like someone who does not believe in those dreams, you stay stuck. You may want to be strong, but if you keep making choices from fear, you feel lost. This creates an inner struggle. You begin to doubt yourself. But once you line up your actions with the person you want to become, everything begins to feel clear. To make this shift, you first need to decide who you want to be. What kind of person would live the life you dream of? Are they focused? Are they honest? Are they consistent, even when no one is watching? Picture that version of yourself, not just what they do, but how they carry themselves, what they believe, how they speak to others, how they handle pressure. Now, each day, try to act like that person. Even in small ways, ask yourself, what would that version of me do in this moment? Maybe they would wake up a little earlier. Maybe they would stay calm in a hard conversation. Maybe they would stop wasting time and start taking the next step. Every time you act in line with that identity, you get closer to becoming it. Your brain begins to accept the new story. You start to feel stronger, more focused, and more sure of yourself. Imagine you see yourself as someone who always gives up. You've tried things in the past and didn't follow through. You start to believe this is just the way you are, but now you want to change. You see a better future. You picture someone who is steady and dependable. One morning, you feel tired. You want to skip the task you planned, but you pause. You ask yourself, what would the new version of me do? You choose to follow through, even though you don't feel like it. That one act breaks the old story. You start to rewrite it. You start becoming who you said you would be. This change doesn't happen in one day. It happens each time you make a choice that matches your higher self. Slowly, the new identity becomes real. Others begin to notice the change. But most importantly, you notice it. You feel proud. You feel steady. You trust yourself again. You don't have to wait for life to give you permission to become the person you were meant to be. You can start today by acting like you already are. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest, committed, and willing to grow. When your actions match your deepest values, life becomes more peaceful, and every step you take feels right. Because you're not just chasing a goal, you're living the truth of who you really are. Lead with service, not ego. There is a quiet power in helping others. When you make your life about more than just yourself, something shifts inside you. You stop needing to prove anything. You stop chasing praise. Instead, you focus on what you can give, how you can help, and the difference you can make. That is what it means to lead with service. Leading with service means your heart is in the right place. You don't take action just to be noticed. You don't speak just to be heard. You look for ways to lift others up, not to put yourself above them. You understand that real strength is not shown by how many people follow you, but by how many people you help grow. Many people think that to be successful, they have to look important, act important, or talk about themselves all the time. But that path is shallow. It may impress some people for a while, but it does not last. A life built on ego is like a house built on sand. It shakes when pressure comes, but a life built on service is strong. It stands steady through storms because it has meaning at its core. When you lead with service, people trust you. They feel your care. They know your words are not just noise, they are real. They can see that your actions are not just for show, they are done with purpose. This kind of leadership doesn't need loud voices or big titles. It simply needs a heart that's willing to serve. You can lead with service in small ways every day. It could be listening to someone when they speak. It could be sharing what you know to help someone else grow. It could be encouraging someone who's ready to quit. It could be doing your work with care, knowing it helps others in ways they may never even see. These small acts matter. They create trust. They bring peace. They inspire others to do the same. Imagine you are given a chance to speak to a group of people. You can choose to talk all about yourself, your wins, your struggles, your talent. Or you can choose to speak about what they need, their hopes, their fears, their path forward. You share lessons they can use. You speak with kindness. You leave them better than you found them. When you finish, they don't just remember your words, they remember how you made them feel. That is the power of service. A life of service does not mean you forget yourself. It does not mean you become small. In fact, it makes you bigger. Because every time you lift someone else, you rise too. You gain wisdom. You gain peace. And you build something that lasts far beyond one moment. Ego always wants the spotlight. It needs to be fed, but it is never satisfied. Service, on the other hand, is quiet and steady. It gives and trusts that what is given will return in time. It does not hurry. It does not beg for approval. It simply does what is right, even when no one is watching. The world needs more people who lead this way with courage, with care, and with a deep desire to help. You can be one of them. You can be the one who makes others feel seen, heard, and valued. You can build your life not just on what you get, but on what you give. And in doing so, you will find a kind of success that goes far beyond anything ego could ever offer. You will build a life of true, worth one act of service at a time.
If this inspired you, subscribe and follow for more, and don't miss the other videos we've lined up for you. Keep learning, keep growing. Your next breakthrough could be one click away.